Hey, Commanders fans, welcome back to the channel. The excitement surrounding our team is at a level we haven't seen in a long time. Let's start with the unit that, for me, has been the biggest and most pleasant surprise of the season, our defensive line. Before the start of the year, most analysts, and even many of us fans, believed this would be our weak point. There was a huge lack of trust in our ability to pressure the quarterback. Adam Peters seemed confident, but that confidence wasn't shared by everyone. Well, nation, any doubts were completely annihilated after this dominant start to the season. And at the center of this revolution is a player who is having a performance explosion that absolutely no one predicted. Dorance Armstrong Jr. He arrived last season, coming from Dallas with Dan Quinn, and was a solid player, but nothing spectacular. The big challenge for him was to transform his speed into real production, into sacks. And my friends, he not only achieved this goal, he smashed it. He has already quietly accumulated 5 sacks this season, which puts him among the leaders of the entire NFL. What we are witnessing is the transformation of a good player into a legitimate threat that opposing defenses now need to circle in red in their game plans. These are Pro Bowl numbers. Dan Quinn always believed Armstrong had the potential to become a high-level starting defensive end, and after a period of adaptation, the light finally came on for him. And make no mistake, his success is opening doors for our entire defense to shine. Now let's get out of the trenches to talk about a player who is the definition of consistency and professionalism, one of the few remnants of previous regimes who continues to perform at an elite level. I'm talking about Tress Way. Adam Peters acted quickly to renew the roster, but there's been a constant for over a decade that continues to be a pillar for us. Punters rarely get the attention they deserve, but we all know that having an unreliable one can destroy a game. Fortunately, that has never been a concern for us with Tress Way. He is revered in the locker room, has been selected for 2 Pro Bowls, and most importantly, shows no signs of declining performance in 2025. In fact, his average yards per punt and the percentage of kicks inside the 20-yard line have increased compared to last year. He is putting half of his punts in a very difficult field position for the opponent, which is a gift for our defense. He is a hero who goes completely unnoticed, going back to the battle in the trenches, but now on the offensive side, we need to talk about a story of overcoming and how to seize an opportunity. When our interior offensive line struggled at the beginning of the season, Dan Quinn didn't hesitate to make drastic changes. And one of the most surprising was the entry of Chris Paul as a starter at the guard position. Nobody, absolutely nobody, expected him to be more than a rotational player this season. Paul didn't have many opportunities last year, so this was, realistically, his last chance to make a good impression and prove he belonged at this level. And he not only took the chance, he grabbed it with both hands. The physical strength he brings to the running game has been a key factor in the success of our offense. Add to that his constant evolution in pass protection, and we're talking about a player who went from the end of the bench to, possibly, securing a new contract in the future. Sticking with the theme of players who have seized opportunities, we need to return to our defensive line and highlight the work of Jacob Martin. As I've said, the success of this unit has been a truly collective effort, and with injuries to some key players, the depth of our roster has been tested, which has put Martin in a more prominent position. And he's answered the call spectacularly. Martin has always been a competent rotational player throughout his career, but he's thriving with the extra responsibilities he's received. He's been a force against the run, securing important tackles and closing gaps. And even if he doesn't always show up in the stats with sacks, his tireless effort and constant energy in passing situations are causing incalculable problems for opposing offensive lines, creating opportunities for his teammates. Now let's talk about the glue that holds everything together in the center of our offensive line, Tyler Biadasz. Amidst all the changes and difficulties we've had on the interior line, with the exchange of the 2 starting guards, he's been the rock, the point of stability. He's not a headline-grabbing player, but his role is absolutely crucial to our success. He has been a model of consistency, allowing only 1 sack and not committing any penalties, but his influence goes far beyond the blocking. He is an exceptional communicator before the snap, responsible for making the reads and adjustments that keep everyone on the same page. His experience was crucial when we had to play with our backup quarterback. He is everything you expect from a reliable center, the silent leader of one of the most important units on any football team. He is the brains behind the brawn. Continuing with the interior giants, we need to talk about a player who arrived under a sea of distrust, but who is proving that Adam Peters knows exactly what he's doing, Javon Kinlaw. When we announced his contract in free agency, many in the media, and even among the fans, scoffed at the value. It was believed that we were overpaying for a player who hadn't lived up to the expectations of a first-round pick. Adam Peters, who was part of the team that drafted him in San Francisco, believed that this was the perfect environment for him to finally explode, and he demonstrated this faith with a 3-year, $45 million contract. And Nation Kinlaw is repaying every penny of that trust. Much of his best work doesn't show up in the stats. He and Darren Payne have formed a dominant duo on the interior, and his presence is helping Payne be more consistent than ever. It seems like it was money well spent. Finally, our last silent hero is a rookie who's playing like a veteran, Trey Amos. We believed we had found a gem when he fell into our lap in the second round of the draft. He had first-round talent, but a concern about a back injury caused him to fall. And now, some teams are probably bitterly regretting letting him pass. Amos earned the starting spot quickly, and his transition to the NFL has been incredibly smooth. In a notoriously difficult position for rookies, he has been, arguably, the most consistent player in our secondary. He plays with a physical force and a coverage technique that are rare for such a young player. He is not making life easy for opposing receivers at all, as reflected in the low number of receptions he's allowed and the low rating quarterbacks have when throwing in his direction. We found our cornerback of the future. Now, I want you, who follows every detail and values these warriors, to participate in this tribute. Which of these 7 silent heroes impressed you the most and filled you with pride this season? Leave their name here in the comments. I want to know who your favorite is. And if you agree that the heart of this team is in the players who don't seek the spotlight, show your support by leaving a like on this video and subscribing to the channel. Ultimately, the big stars win the games, but it's the silent heroes who build championship teams, and that leads me to the final question, which defines our true identity. Is the rise of so many underrated players and the collective success of units that were seen as weaknesses the definitive proof that the greatest strength of this team does not reside in the individual talent of its stars, but rather in the depth, the culture, and the heart that were meticulously built by this new coaching staff?